Okay, now we're going to get down to it and start working on your impossible goal. And the whole exercise, the whole point of this is that you can see from everything we've done that we have things, we have resistance, we don't believe that we can do it. And through all of the different steps, now we're beginning to kind of break down that barrier to just having the result, to even believing for yourself that it could happen. And this is really, in a lot of ways, the hardest part when it comes to achieving anything, is simply letting go of our own fears and doubts about doing what it might take, or even having it. You know, I've noticed a lot of times when I think there's something I want in my life, and when I look at it closely, it's like, well, I don't know if I really want it. Like, let's say, okay, I want to have $1 million. A lot of people have that goal. But if you really look carefully, it's like, well, what are some of the reasons that you might actually not really want it? It's like, well, if I had $1 million, then, I wouldn't know if my friends were real friends. Like, maybe they're just here for the money. Or then I'd have to start dealing with accountants and lawyers, and I don't like them. Or if I had it, and then if I lost it, then I'd feel even worse than I feel now. And if you can see, we can come up with a very nice list of reasons not to have this. So what I want you to do in this step, in this lesson, is to go back to the list you just made of all of the possible action steps it would take to achieve the goal. And now we're going to look at the ones that you marked as possible. And I want you to pick one to work on, to take a step. And notice if you have any resistance to that, if you have any feeling like, oh God, I can do it, but ugh, and like maybe you want to, just bounce the idea off somebody, and what if they don't like it? What if they don't like me? And so fear and doubt is really a big part of our lives. And the thing is, to be a leader, the more you address it, I mean, some leaders, I think if you look at them, they just have a knack of just paving over that. But I think it comes with experience and a certain kind of, and so what we're trying to do is synthesize that experience, as opposed to you having to slog for years and years. What I'm teaching you are secrets I learned after I slogged. And then I go, wow, if I had known the things I'm teaching you now, my life would have been a lot easier, and I would have been able to achieve my goals much more easily. And that's really the whole point. So pick one item on your list, look at it carefully, see if there's anything keeping you from doing it. If suddenly you get tired, and whatever comes up, maybe it's a tired feeling or a feeling of sadness or fear, or you've got some kind of, sentence running in your head saying, come on, this is stupid. Who are you kidding? This guy, Mark Winstein, don't listen to him. That's just your mind trying to keep you safe. But your mind, if your mind knew how to get the goal, it would just give you the instructions right away, and then you just go do it. Like, your mind knows your name, right? It's for the things that you've learned in the past. And one of the reasons why these goals are impossible is because you're trying to add something in your life that you don't know how to do. And that's why it's it can be a lot of fun. I'm not saying it's not going to be challenging. So again, go back to that first step that's drawing you, something you can do. Look and see if there's anything blocking you, whether it's some kind of thought or some kind of emotion, and just say, I love you. Just keep saying I love you to those thoughts and feelings, because they're from the past. These are not accurate predictors of the future, but they are inside of you. So you're giving yourself self-love. This is a self-love technique. You could say that leadership is a self-love technique. And it's one of the most efficient ways to get things done, especially in a peaceful mode, right? Some people achieve their goals by grabbing a gun and forcing other people to comply. I don't teach that. You can go a lot of other places if you want to learn how to do that, okay? So what I'm teaching you is a peace-based leadership method, And to do that, it really helps for you to, bit by bit, see how you yourself are blocking yourself from taking action. And don't force anything. This is also my big lesson. Like, this is a real luxury to be able to do what I'm saying. You have your life, you're here, you're online, you're paying your bills, whatever you need to do to stay alive. So you're surviving. You've won the basic rat race. You're alive. Okay, so now we're trying to add something of beauty to that. And you just keep saying, I love you to the thing that's bothering you until you really, when you do that, suddenly you'll see, oh, I can see the safe way to step forward. I don't have to take a risk. There's so much literature, there's so much nonsense about leadership and entrepreneurship. Oh, he took such big risk. He's so courageous, and this is, every time I've overridden that little voice in me, it's ended up as a disaster. Every time I've waited until I feel a total confidence and total peace with that step and no doubt in my mind about it, it's worked out beautifully. And so that's really the lesson here. Look at that step. See if you have any last doubt about it. Like, it's possible, but you still don't want to do it. Give love to those reasons or those feelings and just keep doing that until you feel a sense of peace. And then finally, when you're ready, take your first step and see what happens. And the magic of this whole thing, the reason you're here, is that the process of taking one step and then another step, and suddenly you'll see, oh, I see how to do it. I see what the next step is. It may not even be on your list, but the more steps you take in using this process, suddenly your intuition or, you'll get information. Somehow you'll see the next easy thing. And it's that momentum of doing one step and another step. And suddenly you see, wow, like something's really happening here. In fact, even this video for me, my goal here, this is a new enterprise. The last enterprise I attempted to do, I raised a bunch of money. The company made money, but not enough. And all the money's gone. All my money was gone. It's like, okay, great. What do I do now? I'm not like some 20-year-old where just, crash testing doesn't matter. I'm getting up there, and so I'm very, I'm even more hesitant to make mistakes, and yet doing nothing wasn't appealing. And literally what you're seeing now is the result of almost a year of considering how and looking at how I wanted to really help people fulfill their visions. My whole life, but the past 20 years especially, since 2001, my big focus was on raising capital for other people and mentoring other people. And it turns out, so, I know how to raise capital for anything, or raise money for anything. If it's not a business like a charity, I've done it. I've raised millions of dollars, and I've come up with really great techniques. And then what I really found from that experience is that really what people need, the people I want to work with, really needed and wanted the most was a kind of a leadership mentoring, so they could hold that energy of success. So how do I do that? What's my next step? How do I do it in a way that really expresses who I am and serves the most number of people possible without me ending up, getting super overextended and, having a total energy imbalance. And those have been some of my blocking thoughts. It's like in the past, pretty much everything I've done, I put too much energy out and didn't receive enough energy or money back. And that's not a good thing. And so this is why I'm teaching you this way. So if you follow this method, you do what I'm saying in this exercise and in this course, what you'll do is you're never going to overextend your energy. Your energy out is going to be, you'll be able to see, oh, it's reciprocal. I'm receiving as well as giving. And when that's in balance, when your inflows and your outflows are appropriate to each other, and you're creating, when you're doing these projects, you're creating a kind of wealth or abundance outwardly, and so it's only appropriate that you would also receive abundance inwardly, even things like your own finances. Like if you do this right, and you keep following the steps, and I'll have some other courses specifically about receiving money, but you'll see that the flow is nice and that you're building wealth on both sides of the equation. It's not a win-lose thing anymore. So that's a lot of info. I hope you like this. Thanks for being in the course. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know. And I look forward to hearing how it goes for you.